Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum students. I welcome you all in my biology class. Course code is 5090 and topic is component of food. It related to the topic nutrients, right? And then we will lead toward the next topic, animal nutrition. Week number is 7. So let's start. Our format of this session is review of chapter enzymes, and then we will discuss about the objectives, explanation of the content, and then there will be recap, and at the end you will download assignment from the DH report. Review of unit enzyme, what we have discussed in the previous chapter. So what are enzymes? In the previous topic, we have discussed that enzymes are biocatalysts which basically speed up the chemical reactions and are not used itself. Like enzymes are not going to use itself, but these enzymes enhance the reaction. Like if you wanted to make barbecue, then definitely you will add some tenderizer, right? If you will add tenderizer, then obviously it will take less time in cooking. Like if you want to do a barbecue of beef, and you know very well that beef take a lot of time for the cooking, but if you will add tenderizer mean like if you will take papaya contain enzymes, digestive enzymes, which basically make your meat soft and tender, right? And what will be happen, that will be cooked and barbecued you can easily within a short time, right? So just like this, enzymes basically enhance the chemical reactions, maybe anabolic, maybe catabolic, whatever. If there is a synthesis, if there is a breakdown, but enzymes speed up the reaction. It increases million times, increase the speed of the reaction. If that process will take almost 24-50 hours, like, but enzyme basically reduce the time, and that process will be occurred within a short time. And then I have explained that how these enzymes work. Like what's the action of enzyme? Enzymes basically chemically they have a structure just like this, that there is a space, there is an active site where there will be the attachment of substrate, and that active site identify the specific substrate. Like each enzyme, every enzyme is very specific for their substrate. I've discussed that protein, suppose we will take protein as a substrate, then what will be the enzyme for protein? Protease. There will be attachment, and for this, which model basically explain about this mechanism? That one is a lock and key model. It just we take an example that how it works. It works like a lock and key. You know that lock have a specific site where we will insert the key. When we insert the key, then the lock will be open. Working will be completed. So just like this, when substrate will attach with their specific enzyme, then what will happen, that substrate will be converted into product. Is that clear? Okay. And then we have discussed that there are different factors which affect the rate of enzyme catalyzed reaction. Like just like us, if we have favorable environment, like in summer, if there is a cool room, then ultimately air conditioned room, and we have all facilities, then ultimately we can our capability will be optimized. But when there will be less facilities, ultimately we will be irritated and our efficiency will be affected. So just like enzymes are also work in a favorable environment, like enzymes are affected by temperature and pH and substrate concentration. Like if the temperature is favorable, then enzymes can easily work at their maximum rate. But if temperature is not favorable, if temperature is less or more above the optimum temperature, then ultimately the rate of catalyzed reaction will be affected. Maybe it will be low rate, and maybe it will be ultimately blocked. So by the end of lessons, you will be able to list the chemical elements that make up carbohydrates, fats, protein, describe test for starch, iodine and potassium iodide solution, reducing sugar, Benedict solution, protein test for Biuret test, fats with ethanol, that test is known as emulsion test, and you will be able to list the principal sources of carbohydrates, fats and proteins. You will be able to describe the dietary importance of carbohydrates, fats and proteins. So let's start. What are biological molecules? Basically, there are 7 components of the food which you already studied in lower secondary science. Like there are carbohydrates, fats, protein, vitamins, minerals, water, and dietary fibers. So today we will discuss about 3 main organic components of the food: carbohydrates, fats, and protein, and then we will discuss about their food test. So what are biological molecules, which are often called organic molecules, since many of them were discovered in living organisms, and chemists have found that organic molecules all contain carbon and hydrogen atoms, often along with other elements, and carbon atoms bond strongly to other carbon atoms, so organic molecules can be large and show a wide variety of chain and ring structure with many carbon atoms bonded together, and you can see these structures. And carbon dioxide gas and water are the raw material for photosynthesis, and you can see this equation, and the simple sugar produced in photosynthesis are used to make a wide range of other compounds, and plants need minerals to make some of these complex compounds. Animals eat plant or other animals that feed on plants. Biological molecules that animals require are present in their diet, and different biological molecules are needed for a balanced diet in humans are carbohydrates, proteins, fat, vitamins, minerals, fibers, and so first we will discuss about carbohydrates. Carb means sugar. Sugar with single carbon ring are called monosaccharide. Basically, there are 3 categories of carbohydrates: monosaccharide, disaccharide, and polysaccharide. And you can see in this flow chart what are the examples of monosaccharide. Mono means single carbon ring. Disaccharide mean, you can see in this diagram, like in the blue color diagram, disaccharide consists of 2 carbon rings, and oligosaccharide, which consists of 4 carbon rings, and poly mean many carbon rings are joined to each other, right? And what are the example of monosaccharide? Glucose, fructose, and galactose. These are examples of simple sugar molecules. Then disaccharide, maltose, sucrose, and lactose, which are formed by joining of these monosaccharides. Then there is a polysaccharide. Examples are starch, glycogen, and cellulose. And you can see here the structure of the monosaccharide, disaccharide in green color, and then polysaccharide where there is a long chain of carbon rings. So you can understand with the help of these diagrams. Monosaccharide single, di when there will be joining of 2 beads, and when there will be many beads are joined to each other, then these will be known as polysaccharide. So it's a diagrammatically representation of carbohydrates. These are the sources of carbohydrates, and you can see that all these starchy foods basically belongs to carbohydrate: bread, buns, beans, pasta, potatoes, corn, wheat, rice. All these belongs to all are the sources of carbohydrates. So first we will discuss about monosaccharide. Carbohydrates contain the elements carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen, we know, and carbohydrates include sugar and starches, and the simplest form, which is simplest sugar, glucose, basically that one is an example, which is made in photosynthesis and used in respiration and transported in blood. It consists of 6 carbon atoms arranged into a ring form. Then there is a disaccharide, and that one is explained with the help of sucrose, which is also known as a table sugar. Is a double sugar molecule made up of 2 molecules of simple molecules of simple sugar joined by chemical bonds, right? And complex carbohydrates are made by joining many simple sugar molecules. And the third one is polysaccharide. So first we will discuss about starch. Plants store their food in the form of starch, which act as an energy source, and they have enzyme to catalyze the reaction that join glucose together into long chains. Glycogen, sometimes called animal starch, is another complex carbohydrate made from glucose by animals as a store of energy. It's stored in the liver and muscles, and starch and glycogen, unlike sugars, are insoluble and don't taste sweet, right? Mono and disaccharides belong to simple sugar, and oligosaccharides, polysaccharides are complex sugars. These are tasteless and insoluble in water. The starch is stored in the plant form, that basically is the present in the plant, and the glycogen is stored in the animal's body. third, cellulose, which we have already discussed, that the plant cell wall is made up of cellulose. It's a complex and structural carbohydrate made up of thousands of glucose units, and these glucose units are held together by bond forming long and unbranching. These cellulose molecules are linked together to form fibers, which give plant cell wall their strength and rigidity. And for the digestion of cellulose enzyme, cellulase is required. Next component of food is protein. Proteins are large complex molecules that play many critical roles in the body. They do most of the work in the cells and required for the structure, function and regulation of the body, tissues and organs. They are made up of carbon, hydrogen and oxygen, but they also contain nitrogen and may have sulfur. And you can see the formula of a single amino acid, because proteins are made up of amino acids by joining of amino acids, and this one is the simplest formula of amino acids. The different sequence of amino acids give different shapes to the protein molecules. These different shapes of protein molecules can be related to their function, like enzymes are protein that provides the surface for reaction to take place, called the active site. So antibodies are protein. These are the examples of proteins with a structure that has binding sites on its surface. This enables them to bind with chemical called antigens on the surface of pathogens and make the pathogens stick together. So these antibodies are used for what? For the immune system, and these antibodies are made up of protein. So protein basically plays very important role for the structure as well as in the form of enzymes. Right? There are so many types of protein, and protein is very important for the growth of the body and for the muscles, for the tendons, and this one is also important for hemoglobin, which is an iron containing protein which transport the oxygen gas from one place to another place. So protein is very important, and proteins are made up of amino acids by the joining of different types of amino acids, and there are 20 different kinds of amino acids which are known by biologists, and the sequence of amino acids basically makes different types of protein, and that sequence is decided by the DNA. And next component of food, which is an also organic compound, that one is the fats, and second name is lipids. Fats, like carbohydrates, contain only three kinds of atoms: carbon, hydrogen and oxygen. Then what's the difference? A fat molecule is made up of four smaller molecules joined together. One of these is glycerol, which is the backbone of fat molecule. Attached to the glycerol, there are three long molecules which are known as fatty acids. And fats are insoluble in water. Fats that are liquid at room temperature are called oils, which are known as unsaturated fatty acids. Basically, fats and oils are divided on the basis of their fatty acids. If there are saturated fatty acids, then those will be known as saturated fats, and if the fatty acids are unsaturated, then those will be considered as an oil, right? And difference between the unsaturated and saturated, basically that all the carbon atoms are joined with hydrogen, or some of the carbon atoms are there are double bonds between the carbon and hydrogen bonds. So now there is an importance of these components of food which we have discussed. Carbohydrates are starch, that one is the main source of energy. Proteins are very important for the synthesis of protoplasm, for growth and repair of worn out tissues. And it's also important for the synthesis of enzymes and hormones, and for the formation of antibodies. And fats are important for the synthesis of membrane, solvent for fat-soluble vitamins, storage of energy, and it's also act as an insulating material. So that's why sea animals have a thick layer of fats which is known as blubbers, and that basically act as an insulating material and prevent from the harsh weather. And we also have a thin layer of the fats under the skin, and during winter season basically it provides the insulation to our body for the maintenance of body temperature. Now there are chemical tests for the biological molecules. All living things are essentially composed of the same basic group of molecules. The four types of carbon-based molecules that are carbohydrates, protein, fat or lipids, and vitamins. So first one test, which is known as emulsion test, and that test is performed for the presence of the fats, either the lipids are present or not. So for this, what we will do for this practical, we will take 2 centimeter of ethanol or add it to the unknown solution, and the mixture is gently shaken. The mixture is poured into a test tube containing an equal amount of distilled water. If lipid is present, then there will be white milky emulsion will be formed. So it shows that fats are present in that unknown solution. If there will be no formation of any milky white emulsion, it means fats are not present, lipids are absent in that unknown solution. Next test, that one is the protein test. We will take a test tube which will be half filled with any type of protein, like you can take a crushed meat, and it's up to you if you want to take. You don't have crushed meat, then you can take white yolk, which is known as albumin. You have to make the suspension, and then you have to take a little amount of that solution. Then add 5 or 6 drops of biuret solution. Biuret solution basically consists of copper sulfate solution and sodium hydroxide solution. And what are the safety measures? Take care, as sodium hydroxide solution is corrosive. Biuret solution usually looks blue in color. A positive test for protein is if the biuret solution turns purple, violet or lilac. If that color will appear, it means protein is present. If the color remains blue, then the extract does not contain protein. So that test is performed, and you can say if the color blue, it means negative, no protein. And if the color is purple, by adding biuret solution, and it will be purple in color, it means protein is present. Third test, glucose test. To test for glucose, which is also known as reducing sugar, we will take Benedict reagent and will be added to unknown solution, and the mixture is heated in boiling water bath for 2 to 3 minutes. An orange or brick red color is the positive result. If that color will be appear, that precipitate will be appear after boiling, it means glucose is present. And you can see the series of the difference in the color. If the blue solution, it will remain blue, it means that there is no sugar. And if it will be turned into green precipitate, it means that there is very little amount, there are traces of reducing sugar. And if it will be turned into orange red precipitate, it means that there is a moderate quantity of glucose. But if it will be in brick red precipitate, it means large amount of reducing sugar is present. And that test is also performed for what? For the sugar test, for the diabetic patient. That urine sample is tested for this. Fourth test is starch test. It's very simple. You will take iodine solution which will be mixed with starch, and if it will turn from brown to dark blue, it means starch is present. Is that clear? Starch, for starch what you can take potato, or you can take any corn flour, white flour, and make a suspension and add few drops of iodine solution. It will be turned into blue color, dark blue color, it means starch is present. So these are the tests which basically confirm the presence of these component of food in any solution if you will take any unknown solution. And you have to remember about the process and the colors, right? If there, by the addition of iodine color, dark blue color mean starch is present. If by adding in the solution unknown solution, like which thing, biuret solution, and it will be turned into purple color, it means protein is present. And if you will add Benedict solution and boil in the water bath, and it color will be changed like into orange or red brick precipitate, it means glucose is present. And if you will take add ethanol and equal amount of distilled water, and then you will shake it well by placing your thumb at the mouth of the test tube, if there will be white cloudy emulsion, it means fats are present in that. Otherwise we know that fats are insoluble in water. A recap, now there is a quick recap what we have discussed about the carbohydrates, fats and proteins. First, which elements are present? It's very important for the CIE paper, that which elements are present, are contained by carbohydrates, carbon, hydrogen and oxygen. Fats also contain carbon, hydrogen and oxygen, but the difference is in the ratio of the oxygen and hydrogen. There is a great difference between the hydrogen and oxygen ratio. And in protein, which elements are present? Carbon, hydrogen, oxygen and nitrogen. Smaller molecules of which they are made: carbohydrates, smaller molecules, simple sugar, which are also known as monosaccharides. Fats basically are made up of fatty acid and glycerol. Proteins are made up of amino acid. These are the smaller molecules, and by joining these molecules there will be formation of complex molecules like protein, fats and carbohydrates. Solubility in water. Which thing is soluble? Sugars are soluble, but polysaccharides like starch, these are insoluble in water. Fats are insoluble in water. Proteins, some are soluble and some are insoluble. Why organisms need them? Easily available energy, instant source of energy, and fats for the storage of energy, insulation and making cell membrane, and proteins making cells, antibodies, enzyme, hemoglobin, all these are also used for the energy.